Hey guys, we're back. We're back. We're back. We're back. Hey, Glitter, how are you, DJ Marilyn Landis? Angela's here. I'm late because Mrs. Ping had a giant jumbo Connect 4 set land on her foot at work, and she had to come home. So she's she came here, so she's here with a broken toe, maybe. So Ay, one of those days, one of those days. Hey, Kathy Miller, how are you? Good to see you. Let me get set up. Sorry I'm late. I get very mad when she gets injured because it's like, again, really? It's like, I'll tell you a story. At her work last year, they had two people injured in the exact same way within like a week of each other. Both had broken feet. And I thought they maybe had learnt something in the last 12 months about OH&S, but apparently not. Apparently they have not. They're still injuring people, apparently. So she's now the third person in a year who has got a possibly broken foot. Hey, stop that. There we go. So we were doing this just before we left, and then I had to get out of here. And yeah, I don't know. Her toe's bleeding pretty bad. So I don't know. It's pretty bruised up, and she's broken the toenail right where the cuticle is, and it's just bleeding like a biatch right now. So she should stop moving around. That would help to get your blood pressure down. So we got to go for X-rays and stuff tomorrow. All right. Hey Rachel, how are you, Gambler? Good to see you, Mamma Mia. Happy to have you guys. So we were doing this just before we left, and we didn't get a real chance to have a look at it. I know Agenda Free News did it as well over the last couple of hours, but it says embattled rapper and hip hop musician Sean Diddy Combs was arrested in New York City Monday night amid a federal investigation into, sex trafficking allegations, according to sources. Combs, 54, has faced massive backlash after recent allegations surfaced that he abused his former girlfriend, R&B singer Cassie Ventura, in 2016. His Beverly Hills mansion was raided by Homeland Security about 6 months ago. It's unclear what the agents were looking for during the March raid, but it's believed to be part of the initial investigation. They said it's unclear what charges he is facing in New York, but New York Times reported that the arrest follows a grand jury indictment. A source said the hip hop mogul has fully cooperated and voluntarily come to New York in anticipation of those charges. And let me see if I can find out if anyone has leaked what those actual charges are. I'm sure someone has to have leaked it by now. Let's have a look. See if anyone has leaked it. It says here that was 2 hours ago. Doesn't seem like anyone's actually given up the charges. Just that he was arrested. All right. Let me see if I can find a different source for you. I mean, it's not surprising. They did do that giant raid just 6 months ago, and that was such a big deal. But let's go to CNN.
Tonight, Sean Diddy Combs has been arrested in a Manhattan hotel this evening after a grand jury indicted the music mogul. His attorney tells CNN that he is currently being processed. The charges are unclear as of this moment. Joining us now is CNN's entertainment reporter Elizabeth Wagmeister, and also with us CNN chief legal correspondent Ellie Honig. Elizabeth, you were a big part of revealing some details about Diddy's conduct in private over the course of the last couple of months. That video led to a lot more scrutiny on what he has been accused of. What do we know at this point about what this case might ultimately be about?
Abby, at the moment, we don't know what the charges are. I have information that he was arrested tonight at a Manhattan hotel. He is currently being processed. I heard from his attorney, they are still maintaining his innocence. They said that in anticipation of these charges, that Diddy relocated to New York last week. And here's a statement that I have from his attorney. He says, "We are disappointed with the decision to pursue what we believe is an unjust prosecution of Mr. Combs by the U.S. Attorney's Office." He goes on to say that he is an imperfect person, but is not criminal. Now, Abby, that video that you just spoke about was a few months ago when our team broke this disturbing video of Diddy violently assaulting his ex-girlfriend, Cassandra Ventura, better known as the singer, her stage name, Cassie. Now, up until this point, when we broke this video, Diddy had denied the allegations against him. Cassie is one of 10 civil suits against Diddy, 9 of which he is accused directly of sexually assault. Up until that video, he denied everything. After that video came out, he changed his tone. He apologized for his conduct in that video. But I have to tell you, Abby, just as of last week, a former member of Danity Kane, which was one of the bands from Making the Band, Diddy's show that was on MTV, she sued him for sexual assault and other disturbing allegations, and he denied that. So he continues the denials, and he's still.
So it seems like he only denies things when there's CCTV that gets leaked. If you don't have no CCTV, he's not going to admit to anything nor apologize for anything. And that seems to be his MO. I mean, I don't know, not sure what anyone expected. This guy has basically had his entire world start closing around him from multiple different angles: civil suits, Homeland Security, now criminal investigations. He's got the trifecta of criminality. He's got everything. He's got indictments and grand juries and charges. Now he's been arrested by federal authorities. He's hit the trifecta of policing. He really has. It says here, a law enforcement source told TMZ the Diddy arrest was scheduled for Tuesday, but something happened that caused the feds to move in a day earlier than expected. So that is very interesting that they were going to do it tomorrow morning, but something happened. Maybe he was going to go back to the Bahamas. Maybe he was going to go back out there. You know, when they raided his place in March, he took off on a plane, they said. So maybe he was going to do that again. I'm just seeing if they've got anything else. Nothing on there. Nope, that's not it. All right, let me see. Arrested by the feds. So there's an update here. Just a couple of hours before Diddy got busted, he was confidently strolling around NYC with his son, King. He even stopped to greet some fans and take some selfies, according to reports. That must be that photo there from earlier tonight. And then they said the law enforcement source told TMZ he was scheduled to be arrested on Tuesday, but something had happened that caused them to move that up. That's it. That's all we know. I don't know. I mean, you think you can get away with being crazy for years and years on end and treat women like that? Eventually, it's going to catch up to you. Eventually, someone's going to talk. Eventually, someone wants to get their day of justice. And that's what's happened. That's what triggered all of this stuff. Someone finally had the courage to speak up. And now look what happened. Rachel says, seems to be a pattern with him. Oh, Mrs. Ping. She was at work and a giant Connect 4 set. Her silly work friend decided to put it in front of a door on a windy day. The door acted as a sail, and just as she walked out of the workplace, it just went zhunk and landed on her feet. So, yeah. All right, there's your update on Diddy. I don't know how someone does a 4-hour show on this when there's only a paragraph of information. Let me get you some better true crime stuff for you, because there's really just piss all about it. Although I can add this, according to the Associated Press, the indictment was sealed and details of the charges weren't imminently or immediately announced by prosecutors, just that federal agents had brought him into custody. We expect to move to unseal the indictment in the morning on Tuesday, and we'll have more to say at that time. So wait till tomorrow. There'll be more information then, and we will know lots more in the morning. Yeah, I have the same issue. I have like size 14 feet, and they clip on everything: doorways, boxes, couches, chairs, whatever is there. My feet find it. I'm normally the one with messed up feet, not her. Okay, all right. Let's go back and do something else. Let's do real, not real, but let's do more our type of true crime. By the way, Koberger had a new mugshot released. I wanted to show it to you. I'm not going to talk about it because I know Trish did a lot of it. But look, Ada County Sheriff's Office. Dun 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 dun. Okay, don't play games, Ping. It's a serious subject. He killed allegedly 4 people. Can't be making fun of stuff like that. It says here that officials released a new mugshot for Brian Koberger on Monday, days after the Idaho Supreme Court ruled that his trial should be moved out of the county where the 4 murders took place. So yeah, he's going to be taken to Boise, Idaho, and they're going to go with a new judge or something. It'll be very interesting. His trial is expected to begin midway through next year, June 2nd, 2025, and that'll be a very interesting court case. We'll finally hear more about what the police think happened that night at that home. With the gag order that's in place, it has made it extremely difficult to cover the case. It really has. All right. Let's go to, what county is this so I can tell you? Sandusky. Sandusky. Where is this? Where is Sandusky? Ohio. Ping, you have to say real words. Yeah.
Now with a breaking news alert.
And we are following breaking developments on a heartbreaking, horrific story. A missing little girl found dead, and a man is now in custody for allegedly killing her. Thanks for joining us this noon. I'm Nicole Versansky. We begin with our Harry Boomer. He is live in Sandusky. Harry, this story just is heartbreaking.
It is very heartbreaking. Nikki, the police chief here, Jared Oliver, told 19 News that 29-year-old Devin O'Brien called police around 9 o'clock last night and reported the girl missing. They responded to this mobile home here just off of the 4,000 block of the Venice Road in Sandusky. As they were investigating, they found the girl's body. They then arrested and charged O'Brien with her murder. At this point, we don't have her name or her age. But just after 19 News arrived on location this morning, a police officer showed up and continued the search. She overturned the trash can you see behind me over there, and then she went through it for evidence. She continued looking around the house and began talking to O'Brien's neighbors. Now, all we know at this point is that O'Brien is scheduled to be arraigned on Monday morning at 9 o'clock in Sandusky Municipal Court.
So he should have been arraigned this morning, and I'm just going to pick that up so we can have a look at it. We missed this over the weekend because we were doing the Honey and Barry case. And I'm just going to grab his arraignment if I can find it. Devin O'Brien. Okay. Yeah, Cleveland News. He went to his arraignment earlier today. Cleveland 19 News. All right.
Well, we have new developments on a horrible story out of Sandusky tonight. A missing little girl found dead and one man arrested. Harry Boomer learning more about this troubling investigation from the chief of police himself. We want to warn you, some of the elements of this story are very difficult to hear.
Our officers came out to look for the child. Shortly after they began their search, we discovered a deceased female, a 3-year-old female. That child obviously suffered some blunt force trauma injuries. There was an autopsy performed on the child this morning. Result of that autopsy, we've learned that she died from strangulation. There were signs of blunt force trauma, and there's also signs of sexual assault.
BCI has joined the investigation. Sandusky Police Chief Jared Oliver told 19 News that 29-year-old Devin O'Brien called the police around 9 last night and reported that a girl was missing. Police responded to this mobile home in the 4000 block of Venice Road here in Sandusky. As they were investigating, they found the girl's body. They then arrested and charged O'Brien with her murder. At this point, we don't have her name. Just after 19 News arrived on location, Sandusky police officers showed up and continued the search. One of them overturned a trash can and went through it for evidence. She continued looking around the house and began talking to O'Brien's neighbors. So did we.
It just made me cry because I had talked to her a couple days ago.
George Wiswell is heartbroken to learn that an innocent 3-year-old girl was murdered just 2 doors down from his mobile home.
Do you know where they found her body?
In that little building back there.
No shed back there?
Yeah, from what I understand, she was in a bag. There was a bunch of bedding in there, and they took that all out, and there was 4 or 5 cops back in there. They said I didn't see them. 4 of them come out, and the 5th one stayed back in there, and he found her up above on the loft.
29-year-old Devin O'Brien is scheduled to be in Muni Court here in Sandusky Monday morning at 9. In Sandusky, I'm Harry Boomer, 19.
So it says here at this article, the 29-year-old Sandusky man accused of killing a 3-year-old girl was scheduled to be arraigned in Sandusky Municipal Court Monday morning. However, it was continued, but a new court date has not been assigned at this time. They said Sandusky police arrested Devin O'Brien Thursday, September 12th. He is charged with murder. According to the Sandusky police chief, Jared Oliver, officers received a call around 9 p.m. from O'Brien reporting a young girl missing. Officers responded to that 4000 block of Venice Road, and after searching, they found the young dead girl. She was then taken for an autopsy. O'Brien was taken into custody, and that autopsy was performed on September 13th. They learned that child died of strangulation, blunt force trauma, and there was an SA element that they were able to see on her body. That is disturbing, horrid, and just feels so just foreign. You just go, like, that could be any of our neighbors that have a little kid, right? And then you just hear about, that she died from strangulation, like she's some sex worker that got strangled and dumped or something. It's not. That's not okay either, but they're the ones you think of. This is a 3-year-old, a little girl, just a little tiny girl. And she's been treated like trash, basically. Here's a photo of him being searched and arrested and taken into custody. What a horrible, horrible crime. Let me see if I can find anything about the relation between the two of them. I don't see a lot of information about what his relationship to the girl. Okay. It's his girlfriend's child. That's what it is. His girlfriend's child. Not his child. He's not the father. I mean, I don't know if he played a fatherly role, but it's his girlfriend's 3-year-old. That is horrible. He said on the phone, "I need to report. I believe my girlfriend's daughter and dog have been taken." And they said I took a 30-minute nap and I just woke up. Nowhere. I have searched our entire home. Where does that sound familiar? You know where that sounds familiar? Trying to say they had a nap and then all of a sudden the little kid was gone. It's Elijah Vu. Elijah Vu. Elijah Vu had the same thing happen to him. Jesse rang up the police and said the same thing. I had a nap and I woke up and the kid must have let itself out of the home. I lock all the doors and that, but these kids these days are very clever. They can unlock a door in a deadlock and then they can get out. Same reasoning that Jesse Vang gave police about Elijah. Luckily, it didn't take 6 months to find this child. It took a matter of hours. But these creeps use the same type of I don't know who they think is going to buy it. Like, oh, so you woke up from a nap and the child was gone. So somebody came into your home like a ninja, came in, abducted a 3-year-old girl and a dog. So, that's a common crime. I bet you they have statistics on it. Happens all the time. Wait, what are you telling me? It doesn't happen all the time. There are no statistics on it because it's never happened. Huh. It's weird. It's like it's just not a real thing. How often do you ever hear of that? So I don't think I've ever read a story on this channel about, except there's only one, and there's only one I think people could even get close to saying it's sort of the same, and that's Madeline McCann. But it's so exceedingly rare, it just doesn't happen. Glitter says, did he kill the dog too? I don't see anything about the dog. I don't see anything about the animal. Hold on, let me check. Devin O'Brien. Dog. Let me see. I don't see anything about the animal or what happened to it. I don't know. It doesn't give me anything about that. Let me look at the Sandusky Register. What do they say? So apparently right now, Devin O'Brien is being referred to a mental health evaluation, but is locked up at the Erie County Jail as of Monday. As of Monday afternoon, a new date was rescheduled for 10:30 a.m. on Tuesday. So no, they have put a new time in for his first appearance before the court. That'll be tomorrow morning. So tomorrow morning, it was probably delayed 24 hours so he could see a mental health accessor. No, to get a mental health report done for the court, so the court knows what to do with him before he sees a judge or a justice or whatever, so they know what to do with him, what he needs in his court or whatever. I don't see anything about the animal though. How sad. It probably got referred to like local laws or something like that where they take care of dogs. Kathy says maybe maybe make it look like the child wandered off with the dog. Yeah, there was that little kid that wandered off with the dog. Do you remember that? There was a little boy that walked away with the bloodhound, and they found the bloodhound and they found the kid, but they were luckily both alive. They were just somewhere in the family farm. I remember that one, but it's just so rare. Like, these things don't happen that often. Kathy says, I think a lot of us would like to decide his fate. Yes. I mean, at what point in our world are we going to start getting tougher on people who hurt children and animals by extension, but little kids? Like, do we not have an extra set of punishments or laws? It really bothers me that we treat the death of a little child the same as if someone murdered a 30-year-old woman, but it's sort of not the same, right? Because you're preying on like the one, you're preying on little kids. They don't have the same understanding or realization of the world. They can't defend themselves. And I don't know. I just feel like we're just like, oh, a kid died. Oh, that's sad. Let's have one of those, like, let's have a vigil. Let's do a vigil. It'll make the community look really awesome. Let's do that, but let's change nothing about how the child died. Let's just have something cool for the TV cameras. Let's just have some, like, candles, and we'll say a prayer. We'll we'll all get around. We'll all cry a little bit, and then we'll do exactly nothing about what hurts the children. And, like, that's what I think, because we constantly read about it. Constantly read about little kids being killed. The kid got killed by this way, and this uncle, and this dad, and this mom, and, just hundreds of children. Rachel says, Nevada has an enhancement for anyone over 60. It should be the same for children. I agree. We should have an aggravated charge. Actually, I think Texas has an aggravated charge that you can get. I think it's for essay and murder. Those two. If you do either of those together, but it's with a child, you're like automatically up for the DP. Pretty sure anyway, because we were looking into it for the young girl who was killed after leaving her apartment in Texas. That 12-year-old. What was her name? Jocelyn. Jocelyn. Remember that earlier this year we were looking into what possible punishments the two guys could get. So if you remember Jocelyn from earlier, I think her last name was Nungare. Here, I'll try to find a nice image of her. I really don't like the image everyone shows of her with the red hair, but she's got some very pretty images when she's got the dark hair. Yeah, there you go. So if you guys remember Jocelyn from a while ago. Kathy says women need to do a better job at choosing their partners. About what men are led around children. Doesn't matter if it's a male or a female. Like, you look at something like Madeline Soto, very similar. I don't know, prospective partner of Jennifer Soto lets a male into her home for many years, and he'd been abusing Madeline for a number of years, and then she ended up deceased as well. Some of the details coming out about Madeline Soto, I can't. No, terrible. I'm sure you've all heard it on other channels, and Plunder and Docket and whoever else is doing it, Gray or something. I can't. I was reading some of the details about some of the injuries that Madeline had from her abuse. That's the way I'm going to put it. Horrible, horrible. And Jen just was like, "Oh yeah, that's normal. Yeah, I'm cool with that. Yeah, my daughter is bleeding in places she shouldn't be. No worries, that's fine." Jesus, F bloody beep. That woman. I don't know if she pretends to be as dumb as a box of rocks or she actually is. Hold on. Hey guys, sorry, I had a delivery. I had to go grab. Rachel said she said I'm okay with SA, but murder is not okay, really. Yeah, she's like, oh, that stuff's not evil. Are you right in the head? Are you listening to yourself speak? I mean, I think we all knew she was crackers as soon as we heard that. She's like, oh, I sent my boyfriend and my daughter, 13-year-old daughter, who had just started having her menstruation cycle. I just sent him to the spare bedroom because I needed a good night's sleep. Are you mental? Like, are you crazy? What is this kind of crazy crap you're talking? Like, for real? I I I don't know. And again, I don't know what middle-aged man. I'm a middle-aged man. I don't know what guy my age or a little bit younger would ever want to be in the bed of a 12 or 13-year-old girl or even younger, because it sounds like they've been doing it for many years. My hope is that they need her to convict Stearns, and once that is done, I freaking hope they go after her. Anyone who defends her, I mean, you need your head checked. Retired RN says, yeah. Nah, she knew 100%. She seemed far too like blasé when the cops showed her the photos of like Madeline being, like, how can I put it on YouTube? Preyed upon, those very graphic photos. She just didn't seem all that bothered. She was like, "Oh, okay, is that what he's been doing?" What? W- I've seen parents get more angry over like smaller things about their children than someone literally putting their pineapple in places where it doesn't belong. Like, she should have like torn that freaking police room apart, tried to get to Stefan to absolutely beat the crap out of him. Like, if she didn't know and she wasn't okay with it, that's what any normal parent would have done. They would have turned into grizzly bear. They would have turned into like the friggin' big giant grizzly bear mode. Would have torn down doors and stuff just to get to Stefan. Oh, oh. I'm angry and it's not even my child. Rachel says, I heard today solid evidence dating back to 2020. Be serious. I am being serious. I'm not joking. I'm for real. I'm mad. Yuta says 30 feet. Yeah. Rachel says, watch the latest interview with her detective. It's awesome, and rips her a new one. Yeah, I saw a little bit of it. I saw a bit of it. I can't listen to too much, but it's too much. I don't want to listen to Jen talk rubbish for 5 hours or whatever. I don't want to do that. I'll read the Cliff Notes version of it. I can't listen to her. I just can't do it. I already know what happened. Glitter says, I 100% believe she knew, especially when she made the Woody Allen remark about her biggest fear being that they would fall. Yeah, she made the remark about like when Madeline would turn 18, she expected Madeline and Stefan to run away together. Like, what parent has these type of thoughts? One, doesn't act on them, and two, thinks it's all good. So that case makes it's starting to get into Jesse Vang territory. Kathy said, if it doesn't make you angry, there's something wrong. Right. Yuta says, I can't listen either too much. Yeah. That's why I haven't done it on this channel. One, because I don't have access to the document cache and the video cache that came out, even though I actually know the people who got it. And I could get, if I really wanted it, I could probably beg and plead them to give me a copy. But I'm not going to do that because they sound like they're having a lot of fun doing it. And two, I really just don't want to do it. I don't want to have to play that stuff to you. Glitter says, I've been a single mom since 1999 and never have I had that thought. Yeah. It's, I really think we've found out so much through this freedom of information cache of documents and videos. I don't think this is the end of it. I think this is just the tip of the iceberg. I really think we're going to find out so much more once we get to trial. And I think we're all going to be shocked at what we hear. even if you already are quite shocked, I think we're going to hear so much more. Glitter says they would give you a copy if you just acknowledge where you got the docs. Yeah, I know Eric and I know how he got the documents. I know those people that did it for him. Kathy says he'll get his justice in prison, if you know what I mean. Let's hope so. I think she'll be arrested. I hope that is the case, because at a minimum, it's got to be neglect, right? It's got to be neglect or some sort of like accessory to Stefan's offending, because she openly knew about it. You can try and convince me and change my mind that she didn't know about it. I'll never believe you. There's just too much there, and yeah, I think any mum would have picked up on it. I think any mum would have picked up on his move between lavishing Jen with attention, even though their relationship was a little on and off, to wanting to be around Madeline too much. Like, too clingy or too around her, or them talking to each other too much. Like, those are little things that mums often pick up on very easily. And the fact that she didn't, it tells me she's complicit in the abuse of her daughter and then the death of her daughter. How did Woody Allen not end up in prison? I have no idea. Good lawyer, maybe? Yuda said, poor Madeline, no one cared about her. I think her grandmother did, though. I think maybe that might have been her only defender. Yeah, going on for years. There's no way. And look, there are cases where the abuser is really, really good, and they are very good at manipulating and getting around the authoritarian figure or whatever. That happens. That does happen, but just not in this particular case, I don't think. I think in this one it was pretty brazen. You think about it. Jen gave him the blessing basically to do it. Hey, go sleep with my, preteen daughter in the spare bedroom. Like that should just be like a never ever ever. A lot of families, it's a very touchy subject, but there's a lot of families out there that will, and it's not nice because we shouldn't treat little girls differently or whatever, but unfortunately that does happen because of the things that happen to them. We try and protect them. A lot of families out there really keep a real hawk eye over their, little girls like 11, 12, 13, 14, whatever, 10. They keep an absolute hawk eye over them because they know the advantages people try and take of them. I can't imagine anyone letting a grown man that's not her biological father sleep in the bed unsupervised or even supervised at all ever. Just no. Just no. Like, I've seen it. Like, I've seen where families have come together and say they're traveling or whatever. They make sure that the little girls and even the little boys are far away, and the adults sleep only in the one room, and they sleep in the one room together. No adults sleep with the children. Like, do you know what I mean? They're separated on purpose so no one can do anything. And the fact that, Jen just was like, yeah, head up into the spare room and you guys have a great time. Let mommy get some sleep. Tells you all you need to know about her. Glitter says it happens to a lot of boys these days. Yeah, it is. It is actually a big problem. I mean, I just think, I think we treat little girls differently. I like I said, it's not nice, but we do, and it does happen to boys too. Utah said, I didn't know about her grandmother, poor lady. So glad to hear Madeline did have someone that cared for her. Might have been about her only defender. STL card says poor Maddie didn't even have her own bedroom. No, she had like some makeshift little area that's not privacy. Bizarre. Actually, the largest thing with little boys actually right now, boys and teenage young men, are revenge porn, but in a weird way. It's done through blackmail, and it's the largest sort of crime going on with young men these days. They get caught up. They think this pretty girl likes them. They send these nude photos or videos or whatever, and then they start getting blackmailed for money. And it's the largest growing criminal subclass in the last 20 years. It's just exploded. So to any of my young boys out there, just make sure you meet the girl first before you send any of those type of photos. Make sure you meet her in person and make sure she's actually your age. And ask the girl if she actually wants those photos of you. Don't be like, here is my giant pineapple, and you can just have a photo of it because I want to send you the photo. I tell you, girls don't really want that. Kathy Lynch says, do you think young children are too afraid to tell someone? I think in some cases, yes. I think there are young kids who, but it's hard because some of the grooming playbook is to make a connection where it's a secret and you're not supposed to like tell anyone. It's supposed to be like your little secret with whoever you're abusing or whatever. It's part of the grooming process. So do I think they're too afraid to tell someone? I don't know if they're afraid, but I know that they're told not to. Like it's supposed to be something that's like, oh, it's our little thing, and yeah, no full send. No. There is no full send on the pineapple. Yeah. So yeah. So I think it's a hard question. I think it's a hard question is if they're afraid or they're just being programmed to not. And I don't know which one it is. Rachel says, I'm so lucky my son is in his 30s. I'm terrified for my niece's young children. I always make sure they know I'm always here for them no matter what. I think what would go a long way is normalization of teenagers doing stupid stuff to do with like nakedness and stuff like that. Not in like a creepy way for like adults, but the reason a lot of these boys and some girls get caught up in these sextortion things is because of shame. They don't want their parents finding out. They don't want their whoever getting the photos in the extortion or whatever. But I think if we sort of not normalized it, but at least if they knew if it did happen, no one would think any less of you. Yes, it might be embarrassing for a period of time, but in a year or so, no one will even remember. And I think if that got more normalized to, the consequences aren't that bad, I think maybe we could save some people instead of, there was a young man who unfortunately took his own life over it in Colorado. Glitter said a lot of time the kids they prey on don't have the best homes. Well, that's part of their playbook. Part of their playbook is find a child who parents don't keep 100% attention on them. And that's how you get in. Yes. Bye, my friend. Have fun. I know it's late where you are. Have fun. Social media is harder to kick than alcohol is, being an alcoholic for children. I would say that's probably true. All right. I don't know how we even got onto that conversation. I probably said something. All right. Let's see what else we have. What else do I have in? What did we miss in the last 2 days doing Barry and Honey? I'm sure we missed a lot. Let me check my list. Let me see. I got a missing person, but I want to see if they've been found or not. She was. Good. That is good news. I can show you a photo. So a missing Portsmouth woman has been found safe. Yay. Her name was Melinda Johnson, and she has been located. So that is good news. I had her on my list of stories, but every time I have a missing person now, and I don't do it like the day I find the article, I just double check before I show it to you. So that, because a lot of times they're found, which is good. They said they had been looking for the missing woman. She was 52 years of age, and she was last seen on September the 15th, which was Sunday. And they said, yeah, just she was last seen in the 3500 block of Spence Road around 4 p.m. on September 15th. And she was wearing a red dress, a black sweater, black shoes, and her hair was in twists, whatever that is. But she's been located. Good work. Glitter says, I tell my son all about these cases and let him know don't do dumb stuff. But if anything weird or shameful ever happens, I got his back, and maybe I'll be upset, but my love is unconditional. It will pass. I think that's a good way of doing it. Yeah, we'll see you later. Have a good sleep, my friend. Have a good bed. Have a good snore, because it is quite late over there. All right, let's see what else we have to catch up on. Let's see. This was one we were going to do earlier. Javion McGee. Did we do this? I feel like maybe. It's all right. Well, stop. All right, let's have a look. This was in the last couple of days too, where we were doing Honey and Barry.
Everyone wants answers after 21-year-old Javion McGee was found dead in a rural area of Vance County, North Carolina on Wednesday. McGee, a truck driver from the western suburbs, had just dropped a load at a nearby Walmart distribution center. The Vance County sheriff says he was found with his back up against a tree with a rope around his neck, not far from his car.
It's a lot of holes in this case. It's a lot of questions and not enough answers in this case. There's no transparency that's going on with this case.
McGee's family asked Candace Matthews to speak on their behalf.
This family wants transparency. This family wants accountability. This family wants justice.
The incident is not only raising concerns from the family, but also generating attention on social media. The sheriff says he didn't see signs of foul play, but also wouldn't call it a suicide. He now says the FBI is part of the investigation. His message for those with questions today, not to jump to conclusions.
I understand there's over 1,000 hits on TikTok. The sheriff's office not being transparent, not providing information to the family, and that is not true. There's been information put out there that there's a lynching in Vance County. There is not a lynching in Vance County. The young man was not dangling from a tree. He was not swinging from a tree. The rope was wrapped around his neck. It was not a noose. It was not a knot in the rope. So therefore, it was not a lynching here in Vance County.
I have an update from a few hours ago on Javion. Hold on, let me grab that for you. Not the update I think we were hoping for, but here. Death investigation video shows Javion McGee purchasing rope at Walmart night before his death. Surveillance footage shows him purchasing the rope that was later found with his body. Let me see if I can play this for you.
The Vance County Sheriff's Office released surveillance footage today in their investigation of Javion McGee's death. He's the man who was found dead with a rope around his neck at the base of a tree in Henderson.
In the footage right here, you can see a man who appears to be McGee approaching the self-checkout line inside a Walmart. You can see there purchasing blue rope. He then leaves the store. New tonight, WRAL's Julian Grace talked with the family spokesperson about this video and newly released 911 calls.
The sheriff's office says this is still a very open investigation, but a purchase inside this Walmart has caught the attention of detectives. The Vance County Sheriff's Office released this video Monday afternoon inside a Henderson Walmart the night before McGee's body was found. It appears to show Javion McGee. He's the Chicago area delivery truck driver that was found dead near a tree with a rope around his neck in Vance County. The images show the 21-year-old walking towards the self-checkout line with the blue rope in his hand. McGee approaches the counter, pays for his purchase, and then walks out the door with the rope. Today, we got our first listen to the 911 calls made on the day McGee's body was found.
I had some guys out here mowing grass, and I think y'all man out here hung himself in a tree. The guy hung himself in the tree? Yeah, he looked dead. Okay, what's he got a rope around his neck.
Detectives say McGee's body was found in a parking lot on Vanco Mill Road near Henderson, where he parked his truck. The sheriff's office quickly labeled it a death investigation, while McGee's family suspects foul play. Over the phone, a family spokesperson says the video of McGee with the rope can be explained. What hasn't been explained is his sudden death. They say the investigation has not been transparent.
This is part of trucking equipment used for loads. The family still suspects foul play. The family also stated that they still want transparency, they want accountability, and they want justice.
The sheriff's office has asked the Vance County DA and the SBI to assist in their investigation. Reporting in Vance County, Julian.
I don't know if they deliberately masked the voice of the 911 caller on purpose, but it did sort of sound like the movies where someone uses a voice changer, like in Scream or something. It did sound like that. Kathy says, who is the person in the black cowboy hat? Like it says on the title, it said she is a family spokesperson and is representing the family to media because they obviously don't want to speak. They're too upset right now. I agree that the rope doesn't mean anything. And it could have been a part of his, maybe he needed it for trucking or tying things up on the truck at night or something. It is a little weird. He was found underneath the tree, and you heard that detective in the other video. They said there was no knot in the rope. There was no noose in the rope, like made out of the rope. And there was no So that says to me, if there's no knot and there's no like sort of, round and round to make a sliding lock on it, what's the other way you could use a rope to hurt someone? And it's via strangulation, right? Manual strangulation with a rope. Otherwise, how would you hang yourself if there's no there's no knot in the rope? You'd just be like, I'm going to jump off this tree. And you jump off the tree and the rope just comes off your neck. And you go, oh my God, that's some pretty bad rope burn. But you don't die because it can't keep you up because there's no tension and nothing keeping the rope around your neck. So if there's no knot and it's not a noose and he wasn't dragged behind anything, the only thing I can think of is someone manually strangled him with the rope. They just got it and held it around him, and then when they were done, they just dumped it on him and walked away. Hopefully, they were able to get some DNA from the rope. If it is a manual strangulation, they should be, and it's a nice scratchy type of nylon rope, might be able to get something off it if they're lucky. But it sounds a little odd. Why would someone take him out of his truck and over there? See, and it's odd. The description the guy gave that rang the 911, he said a guy hung himself in the tree. But then you listen to that other video and they said there's no knot in the rope. Hold on. Where is that other video? Here.
The family of a says as the FBI
office. I understand there's over transparent, not providing information to the family, and that is not true. There's been information put out there that there's a lynching in Vance County. There is not a lynching in Vance County. The young man was not dangling from a tree. He was not swinging from a tree. The rope was wrapped around his neck. It was not a noose. It was not a knot in the rope. So therefore, it was not a lynching here.
And by extension, it can't really be a hanging, can it? If there's no knot in the rope and all the things he says, how would you be able to hang from something that can't be tied or kept up? Like you said, he wasn't hanging from the tree either, which you would need to be able to do it yourself. Something's not right here. And the two bits of information, this and then the photo of him buying the rope, we're missing the middle section. And, we sort of know how it ended. We sort of know the beginning, but we don't know what happened in that middle section, and that's the issue here. But yeah, if you listen to what he said and then you go back to what we saw here, and you try and put two and two together, it almost sounds to me like here. A family spokesperson claimed law enforcement told them that he died via the S word by his own hand. In a Friday interview, they denied saying that. At no point in time have we said this to the family. That was the assumption of a person who called 911 to report his death. That person, who identified himself as a first responder, told dispatchers, "I think he hung himself in a tree." A search warrant outlines McGee's final hours, pieced together from surveillance and GPS. He was seen at 4:20 p.m. at the Walmart buying the rope on September 10. A couple of hours later, on the same day at 6:28 p.m., he was seen entering the Hampton Inn on Ruin Creek Road in Henderson. On the same day, 10 minutes later, he left the Hampton Inn. Surveillance cameras in the area where his body was found show him pull up in his truck and walk towards the direction of the tree where his body was found the next day on September 11 at around 10 a.m. God, that's weird then. So the last footage they have is him walking towards that tree. How would you do that with no knots in the rope? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess if you wrapped the rope over, friction could stop the rope from unwrapping. But why wouldn't you just tie a knot if that's what you were going to do? Like, if this was something that you really wanted to do, wouldn't you just tie the knot and make the typical thing to do it? Why would you try a friction hold or something like that? It doesn't make a lot of sense. The caller was a first responder. That's what they're saying. They're saying in the article the caller was a first responder reporting the death of the man. But actually, that's weird too. They say he's a first responder, but then in that video, they say that he says, "I'm mowing the lawn over here." So how would you mow the lawn and be a first responder? How does that work? Or do you mean he's just the first responder, literal? He is the first person to respond to the body, not a first responder like a medic. Odd choice of wording. He did not say he saw him. What? Yes, he did. Yeah, he said he could see it. He goes, the guy, X, Y, and Z. Yeah. The 911 operator here, he says, the caller says, "I'm at my job mowing grass, and I think there's a man out here who has, put himself in the tree." The 911 operator responded, a guy in the tree? And the caller says, "Yeah, he looks dead. He's still got a rope around his neck." I did. I just read it out to you. He says he looks dead. So how else can you look like it if you don't see it? So he did. Kathy says, "I assume the person who found him did not cut him down." Well, who did then? I don't know. What? Wrapped around the tree? Ah. Now, it doesn't say. It says, McGee was discovered seated at the base of the medium-sized tree with the rope tied around his neck and the other end attached to the tree. How is that possible if there's no knots in the rope? Who's talking absolute crap here? Is someone lying? How does that work? With the rope tied around his neck and the other end attached to the tree. But the family does not believe it is a act of self-harm. That is odd. Oh, did he not say he's seen him do it? No, I don't think so. I think he said he was just mowing the lawn out there and he could see a guy who was obviously deceased and he called it in. Yeah, let's. Yeah, the 911 call from the person who found his body. Caller said, I'm at my job mowing grass, and I think that there's a man out here who is, attached himself to the tree. The 911 operator responded, a guy attached to the tree, and the 911 caller says, yeah, he looks dead. He's still got a rope around his neck. Yeah, McGee was discovered seated at the base of a medium-sized tree with the rope tied around his neck and the other end attached to the tree. I don't know. I don't know how you do that with no knots in the rope. No, I don't think the first responder saw him commit it. From what I understand from the timeline, it happened sometime the night before, and he wasn't discovered until the next day when the guy was mowing the grass and saw him there. So there was a lot of time between 18 hours and 12 hours. So somewhere between 12 and 18 hours, something like that, he was out there. Glitter says maybe it's a certain knot that would make it a lynching. I'm not sure. I don't know the history of that part of America where that was a thing. I'm not sure, but hold on. So it says here, if we go to 101knots.com, what is the typical lynching knot they do? And it's this one that I was thinking about earlier. This is they call it a hangman's knot or a hangman's noose. And this is the one that you would typically expect to find in someone who left this world using rope as the part of the way of leaving the world. This is the one you would normally see. Well, this and other variations of it, just, looping it around and tying a knot or whatever. There's a few different ones, but this is the one they say is a typical one. I mean, no, doesn't he say there was no knot in the rope? Like, not just this type of knot, any knot. Or is it too literal? Hold on.
In the rope. So therefore, it was not wrapped around his neck. It was not a noose. It was not a knot in the rope. So therefore, it was not around his neck. It was not a noose. It was not a knot in the rope. So
it was not a noose and it was not a knot. So he's saying there's no knot and there's no noose on the rope. Weird. STL card says, was a vehicle nearby? Yeah, his car was on the roadway, just not too far away. Yeah, I know. I get that. But why would he say there was not a knot? So maybe he did a basic knot? Maybe. But then why use the word not at all? Why not just say, oh, it wasn't a noose? There you go. Yeah, it's weird. There's something weird here. I don't fully get it. I don't fully understand. And then they said he was tied to the tree and not around the tree, just tied to the tree and then tied to his neck. That's a weird way of I know people do this in a multitude of ways, and there's a million and one ways to do it, right? I can't use the word because it's YouTube, but there's a million and one ways people have done it in history. This would just be a little strange, considering you probably have a tree branch just above you, and if you wanted to, it's there. So I find it weird that he would tie himself to the tree and then, yeah, is something up. That's what I said before, Sean, that the rope could have friction, like it could be a friction lock on it instead of a knot. Yeah, I did see that. Yeah, you were saying about the college football people. They came to your area and they got to go to the body farm. I've been to one through university. I would never go again. Moonlight View says you can get a solid hold if you just wrap it just right, but you would need some sort of friction, right? So if he's seated at the base of the tree, it depends where the rope was, because to do that you would need some sort of gravity. But then if you were going to do that, why not just tie the knot? If you were just going to go to all that effort of tying it around a tree to get a gravity like pull on it, so you get a friction lock over the rope, why not just tie the knot in it? I mean, I don't know. It's just weird. I'm just trying to sort it out in my own head. I don't know. But it is a little odd. And if it is foul play, someone's done a great job at throwing a bunch of cats among the pigeons. Someone's done a great job at trying to make this seem very messy. No way in the world? Yeah, I wouldn't. Did he drop from a suspended branch? They didn't say. The best description I have is this one here. Where is it? Here. McGee was found seated in the base of the medium-sized tree with a rope tied around his neck and the other end attached to the tree. So I don't know. Because if that was the way it looked when you came across it, you would probably automatically think it was a, self-committed. Rachel says it's all very confusing and people are conflicting themselves. Hopefully more will come out. I hope so too, because if it is a self-inflicted, then he deserves his dignity in death. And if it's the other way, he deserves to have his the person responsible found who did it to him. So either way, there's some stuff to do here. Yeah, because like now they've got the FBI involved. That doesn't sound right. If this was a self-inflicted death, why would you contact the FBI? I don't think you would. You ever heard of the FBI being brought in on an S word? I've never heard that. No cause of death given. It could maybe if he had help. I mean, could it have been like some kinky type thing where they're into like strangulation or something? I mean, I don't want to do that to a poor dead person and give them that type of stigma. But just while we're talking about it, I mean, I see where you're sort of going with it. I don't know. What does this one say?
The Vance County Sheriff's Office in North Carolina is releasing new video supporting its claim the death of a Chicago man was not a lynching. Javion McGee was found dead last week. The sheriff says he was leaning with his back up against a tree and a rope around his neck. Surveillance video released today shows him purchasing the rope at a nearby Walmart. McGee is from the Chicago area and was in Henderson, North Carolina, making a delivery to the Walmart distribution center there. The family has questioned the circumstances around his death. A preliminary autopsy showed no signs of foul play.
There you go. Preliminary autopsy. No signs of foul play.
An original member of the Jackson 5, Tito Jackson, has died. He was the third of 10
Tito
Jackson
Jackson?
siblings.
That's a different story. Tito Jackson's involved? Wow, it got even weirder. No. I don't know. They're saying here, family insisted that McGee had no history of mental health issues or a criminal background and was excited about his future, having recently obtained his commercial driver's license. Yeah, but that doesn't mean anything. I've seen a lot of people who are excited about the future do something like that. But at the same time, yeah, a preliminary autopsy showed no signs of foul play. This is very, very confusing. Look, yeah, that's what I said. It looked like nylon rope, not rope made out of a natural material. Why won't they let the family identify the body? I don't know. Maybe because they still got it under investigation. Are you sure? I knew that's probably where you'd go with it. I mean, I know you're thinking. It always turns to that. Yeah, it is odd. Hopefully we get an update tomorrow. Because that just makes no sense. Well, yeah, FBI now involved. I just can't imagine they would bring the FBI in for no reason. Like, for an investigative agency to bring a federal agency in, there has to be something there that they're unsure of. They can't just be like, yeah, this was a very typical person who left this world of their own volition. There has to be something there that they're struggling with, even with the no obvious signs of foul play. Glitter says, I was watching an Insta video by his cousin. It is disturbing. Send it to me and we'll watch it tomorrow. And then I'll try to get an update for this for tomorrow night's show. Right. Why bring the FBI in? What do you normally bring the FBI in for? Murder across state line, juvenile case across any sort of county that crosses in and out of two different jurisdictions. Something that would require federal oversight. Like, I've never, hold on, no, I better not Google that. I was like, let me Google it. And I was like, no, maybe I shouldn't do that. I'll probably get all these warnings. Call helpline. Don't be Googling this. You can live. I'm fine. I'll live. That part of the country has a pass, so the FBI would be more trusted. Was it on federal land? I don't think so. I think it was just at a park or something, which would be state land. Could it be because he's not from the area? Because he was trucking for a company, dropping off at the Walmart distribution center. Could it be that he crossed a state line somewhere? All right. Thank you for this. I don't know if I can play it to you, but I'll try.
I never thought I had to make this kind of post on my TikTok, but my family desperately needs your help. Hey y'all, I would have never thought I had to make this kind of post on my TikTok, but my family desperately needs your help. This is my little cousin, Javion McGee. He's from Chicago, Illinois. He was 21 years old and would have been 22 in a few weeks. He was found hanging from a tree in Henderson, North Carolina yesterday. He drove trucks, so that was his reason for even being out there. The police officers are trying to say that he went to Walmart and purchased a rope and hung himself. We obviously don't believe that, and we are just asking for your help to push his story out there. This isn't covered on any local platforms. No news stations, radio, none of that. So we're trying to push it out there. We really need your help. The police officers in the coroner's office are giving us a hard time, not allowing his mom to identify the body. At one point, they told her she can't identify the body due to COVID. And then the next day, today, they told her the father has to give her permission for that, which he said that he would. She asked if they could send her pictures at least. They told her yes, and then turned around and told her, oh, I don't think that you want to see your son like that. Come on. Like, this is just very devastating for my family, and we really need to push this story out there. So if y'all could please repost this video, keep saying his name, Javion McGee, hashtag justice for Javion, and we are going to fight for him, and we are standing behind my cousin 100%, and they're not getting away with this. So please share this video. Thank you.
I'm going to send her a message, and I'll see if she'll come on and talk to us tomorrow night about Javion and see what she can tell us about him. I don't know if she'll reply. I've had pretty crap luck getting interviews, but I'll try. Yeah, he bought the rope himself. Yes, this is true. Let's check the comments. Anything here? People saying it could be cops. People saying it could be racial. People comparing it to Palestine. This needs to become a federal case. Well, it already has. The FBI are involved. Interesting. Let me shoot her a message, and I'll see if she will come and talk to us or not. STL card says jumping to conclusions, possibly. Thank you, I appreciate it. If she replies to you and not me, you can give her my email. And tell her I'd be happy to have her on to talk about Javion tomorrow night. So, yeah. It's in the chat for you. Yeah, they found his vehicle. It was parked just out on the other side of the tree, from what I understand. He parked on that side, got out of the thing, and then walked away from it towards the tree. And Angela says it's heartbreaking. What the F does the mum need the dad's permission to ID her son? I have no idea. I've never heard of that before. I've never heard you. As long as you're a family member and can verify you're a direct family member, anyone can ID a body. You don't need to be anyone. You can be a sister, you can ID a body. You could be a brother, you could do it. You could be a cousin, I'm pretty sure. As long as you have a direct relation to it. Normally, they like to use next of kin. So if it was your parents who died, normally it's the children who would ID it. If it's a child that died, normally they like to use the parents because they're the ones who know them the most. But I've seen things like best friends ID bodies and stuff like that. If it's true, you can say what you want. What? Many untrained newbies working in the coroners and even LA. In lots of places, my friend. Yeah, there's a lot here doesn't make sense. Yeah, it was just not too far away. I don't know how far, but one of the stories and videos said that the last thing they... Yeah, where is it? This will be the last thing we do. Hold on. Yeah. Surveillance cameras in the area where his body were found show McGee pull up in his truck and walk towards the direction of the tree where his body was found the next day, September 11, around 10 a.m. So sometime after September 10 at 6:38 p.m., he arrived at the area where the tree is, pulled up in his truck, and walked towards the direction of where the tree is, and his body was found the following morning at 10 a.m. in the morning. So, and look down here. Look what it has down here. Normally they put this kind of stuff for those type of stories. Interesting. Getting very mixed messages here. Don't know. Only know from the TikTok. That's it. All right. I think that's it for tonight, everyone. Hey, I love you all so very much. And we'll be back tomorrow at 9 p.m. Hopefully with a guest. Hopefully. Hopefully with a guest. That would be nice. Yeah. Okay. I want to thank my friend Joe from earlier. Joe, thank you very much. We read out your message to me earlier tonight. I want to thank you for that donation. That's very kind of you. And thank you, Glitter. I appreciate that. Hopefully I hear back. That'd be great. I'll send her one too. It's more professional that way. But I appreciate it. Yes, what else was going on in his life? That'd be interesting. I will. Good night, everyone. I will see you tomorrow for more Nights with Ping at 9 p.m. Eastern. See you later, everyone. Keep well out there. It's a scary place out in the world. We've seen through all the stories. So we'll see you then. I want to see everyone's names back here tomorrow. That's how I know you're all safe. All right. Bye. Bye. See you later. We got to go. Bye.